greatly to be praised in the city that bears his name, the city of Elohim.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we thank you guys very, very much for being a part of our little, tiny, itty-bitty family here. And we are dealing with something over here. What are we dealing with? We have a scorpion that just dropped to the ground. So we're trying to keep the dogs away from it. But this is life in the jungle. This is what happens out here in the jungle. You just be sitting here and all of a sudden a scorpion will fall out of nowhere. And it'll either bite you or flight from you. So here we are, guys, and we thank you guys very, very much. We are the family who believes that the laws, statutes, and commandments that have been found in the first 5 books of scriptures aren't actually called the law. They're called the books of knowledge. It is called the great understanding. And when we have these 5 books in our heart, in our mind, in our soul, then we are the people who have been qualified to be part of the kingdom of our Creator. And so it is very important that as people who are looking for a world outside of this world, that we are very astute and very understanding of what these laws, statutes, and commandments are. And for those who have never been a part of this reading that we have on a Shabbat, welcome, welcome, welcome. We welcome all of you guys. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over these good instructions. We're going to go over every single one of them that we can do today. And we'll go over it very slowly. So if anybody has any kind of questions, any kind of comments, any kind of concerns about the laws, statutes, and commandments, then the best place to drop it in here is into the chat. And there's a lot of astute people who are very much part of Yah's people in the chat, and we can definitely address whatever situation that we are into. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Mr. Father, thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing us. Thank you for your Torah. We thank you for your sermon. We thank you for everything that you have given to us. And we ask that today is blessed, that Shabbat is a day that you have chosen, that it is blessed and is sanctified. We thank you for with his name. Amen.
Okay. All right. Let us, what we are going to be doing right here is what we call a Shema. And it is it's basically the entry verse that we read every Shabbat. And it's literally it's called the Shema, and it stands basically it's hear and obey. And for those who do not know who Yisrael is, Yisrael could very well be you guys. Anyone who is a part of our Creator's covenant path, those who value and those who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator are considered His people. And so, Jaden, will you please give us the Shema?
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words that I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and on your gates.
Okay, so here we are, guys. This is a basic set of commandments. If you don't walk away from anything at all today other than simply this is what our instructions of our Creator have, is that we are to love Him with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul. We are to impress them upon our children. We talk about these laws and the ways of our Creator when we're sitting in our house, just like we're doing now. And when we get up in the morning, when we lay down, every bit of our life should be wrapped around the lens of the Torah. Which is why when we are always talking about it, I get a little excited because it's something that's very exciting, is the laws of our Creator. And they're exciting because we have been basically lied to by every kind of denominated religion that is out there. And they've all told us the same stuff, that we don't have a set of laws, that none of this stuff matters to us. And then when we actually find out there is a set of guidelines and a set of laws, and we find out that they're very easy to keep, that becomes very, very exciting. So stay tuned real quick, and we will go over these amazing laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, who do we got in our chat?
All right, we have the judge, we have William and Sarah, Razul, Charles, Noe, Richie James, Daniel, Brian, Honeymoon Stitch, Jeannie Not of This World. She needs prayer because she's sick, so everybody lift her up in prayer. Rick Johnson, Joanna, the Grand, Candy and Ruby, Jeremy and Callan are here, and then Yehoshua HaMashiach is my savior.
Okay. All right. To those who join us in the future, or if we missed you right here, we are very, very sorry. We have nothing but much love for you guys and all of you guys out there. So let us go through these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we are going to try to do a better job than we have done in the past weeks, and we're going to go slow. We're going to enunciate this, and we're not going to rush this, because this is the most important possible part of this entire reading is what we're about to read. And so if anybody out there has any kind of questions, comments, concerns, again, pop them into chat, and let's discuss these beautiful sets of instructions that we have been given for all times. Commandment number 1 is to be fruitful.
Commandment number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing, and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every cling moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yehosh's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover.
Keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Festival of Matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal. Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that you has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with thieves. No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest. If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil. Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy. Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make use of anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make use of perfume on a normal person. Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife. Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite. Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm their stable. Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed. Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with the taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead. Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple. Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures. Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Kippur. Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini, Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another. Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who have trespassed against. The law of being a Nazir.
Wear zizi on the 4 corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse. Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
Law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Hold up, we have a question. Razul says do not diverse your cattle. Does that mean crossbreeding?
Yeah, there's a lot of the crossbreeding in there is part of that. It's definitely all the mixed breeds. I mean, you could see it in everything, really. They've crossbred in absolutely everything there is. And it takes the genetics of what is supposed to be a strong, like you'll see them down here, they will have the Brahmas, and then they will breed them with other things, and they come out just really kind of weird looking. So everything was meant to diversing your cattle. Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to keep all your stuff together and keep the breeds, keep them clean, as far as that goes. Okay, where we at?
I think we're on do not add or take away from the word. Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Find the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the Torah, laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol, as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of the false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that died of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws of the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
First child is yet double portions.
Your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies and not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that they lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. If he returns living before sunset, that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and him the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah, the Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay, all right. Well, we tried to do a little bit better. These guys start running. It's like a herd of like horses or something, right? You drop the rein, and these guys just start running. You can't get them back. But we work on trying to get it back, and sorry about that. But we do get complaints for us going too fast. So much sorry from all of us onto this. Okay, here we are into the book of Numbers. Jade, will you please give us a quick breakdown of what's going on with this?
We are in the book of Numbers. Numbers is pretty much numbers. We are taking count of the people going to war. The Levites are priests who take care of us, who took care of them back in the day. And we are basically counting people up, counting the army, counting all this stuff. And now here we are with more counting. We are here to count some leaders today and count some stuff for the Levites.
Yep. Okay, so here we are right here. Anyone else have anything?
Hold on. Richie James has a question. After smacking a mosquito on you, find on your skin, you become unclean because of the carcass, right?
Yeah.
And the blood out there
And
too.
the blood. Yeah, you would have a I mean, literally, you would have a like a little what is it? Is like pus coming out? You wouldn't have pus, but
It's like
what?
a venomous thing?
Yeah, it's not a little venomous, but it's whatever they inject into you, because to make it so your blood is actually able to be sucked down, is they inject in some stuff that actually makes it like the rat poison. I think they call it like Coumadin, which is the pharmaceutical people give to people when they need blood thinners. It's essentially what the mosquitoes do, and so yeah, you would be unclean. Smacking a mosquito, you would technically be unclean. That's as easy as it is, for sure. Okay, so here we are, guys. Numbers 7. And it came to be when Moshe finished putting up the Mishkan that he anointed it and kadosh it with all its furnishings, as well as the altar and all its utensils. Thus he anointed them and kadoshed them. And the leaders of Yisrael, heads of their fathers' houses, who were the leaders of the tribes and over the ones registered, drew near. And they brought their offering before Yahuwah. 6 covered wagons and 12 cattle, a wagon for every 2 of the leaders, and for each one a bull. And they brought them near before the Mishkan. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, accept from them, and they shall be used in doing the service of the tent of appointment. And you shall give them to the Levites, each one according to his service. And Moshe took the wagons and the cattle and gave them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons and 4 cattle to the sons of Gershon, according to their service. And he gave 4 wagons and 8 cattle to the sons of Merari, according to their service, under the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the Kohanim. But to the sons of Kehath he gave none, because theirs was the service of the Kodesh objects, which they bore on their shoulders. And the leaders brought the dedication of the altar in the day it was anointed. So the leaders brought their offering before the altar. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, let them bring their offering, 1 leader each day for the dedication of the altar. And the one who brought his offering on the first day was Nachshon, son of Abinadab, from the tribe of Yehudah. And his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 golden ladle of 10 filled with incense, 1 gold ladle, 1 young bull of 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Nachshon, son of Amminadab. Now, as we get through this stuff, as we start reading through these are some of these chapters that it feels like they never end, because it goes over the exact same thing over and over and over. Now, this is very, very important, though. If we were back in this day and we were able to see this and to see this entire procession going through, all of the accounting part of this, everything that they were bringing on, it all has a purpose and it all has a point.
Yeah,
18.
This stuff is for the Levites, right? This is basically their payment for their job in the church, because they don't get land, they don't get the other stuff the tribes do. So this is how they eat, this is how they get paid.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And so the things that we do nowadays, where you have a man in a 501c3 church is standing behind his temple or standing behind his little pulpit, and he's basically taking 10% of cash from these people, that is completely unbiblical. Number one, he's not ordained. Definitely he doesn't have the right message. And for sure, if people were really wanting to give the leaders of the congregation what they gave them back in the days, they would be giving them a lamb, some flour mixed with oil, all of these kind of things like this, right? And so all of this stuff where people are convinced they got to give people 10% of their money, it's out of
unbiblical.
It's totally unbiblical, definitely. Okay.
Before you go, we have one more question
What
on
you got?
the commands. Yehoshua HaMashiach is my savior. What a woman should not wear of a man's. She wants you to explain that a little bit more.
Where we at? Where she said it?
A woman should not wear what is a man's.
Okay, so this is the commandment, and we go over this a little bit oftentimes. This is the commandment that a woman should not wear what pertains to a man, and a man should not wear what pertains to a woman. What this is saying is, if you are a woman that feels like a man, so you go put on trousers and a man's hat and man's you're trying to look like a man in the role of a female, this is wrong. This is the problem. Just like the dudes that have a beard and get on high heels and a dress, that's a dude that should not be dressing like a woman. We are not to confuse the situation. We are not to jack the entire thing up. And simply imagine a world right now that this command was enforced, right? Imagine the people that would be killed off, right? Because in the event that you were dressing up as a woman and you're a dude, or a dude dressing up as a woman and you're pretending to be a woman, we're violating the general order of the ecosystem, right? None of us would be here if homosexuality was the main go-to, right? It's about Adam and Eve. It's not Adam and Steve, and it's not about trying to look like something that you're not. I get it. We live in a world full of GMOs. We have all of this crazy stuff. People are very, very, very confused about their genders. Most people didn't have full-on families. The testosterone in men is beyond the levels of women. It's like the testosterone levels in men are what 100-year-old men would have 30 years ago, right? The estrogen in women is all screwed up. Everything is completely whacked out. The point of this is, if you feel like a man and you're a woman, you got to figure this one out and get over it. The answer is not putting on man's clothes and pretending to be a man when you're obviously a female. Same for a dude. And, I feel like, back in the day, they had this movie called Idiocracy. It's another satanic show. But the whole point of that movie was these people in the future were literally watering their plants with Gatorade. because it sounded like something good. And when people are like, well, we can't grow plants without, you should grow plants with water, people look at you like you're stupid. Now you have this, and Trump came out, the one of the greatest Satanists of all. He comes out and he says there's only two genders. And then you have everybody's like, whoa, wow, there's only two genders. I don't know how far we've gone down in society that we actually have to make a statement that there's only two genders, but it's obviously we've fallen so far down that has to be it. And people are like, wow, that's simply amazing. So guys, if you're feeling like a chick, get a gym membership and start running, start working out, start bringing your testosterone up. It's not right either way. So guys, let's get out of the dresses if you're a man, and let's get out of your men's clothes if you're a woman. That's the point. Okay, continuing on. Anyone know where we're at?
Yeah, we're on, I think we're on 18.
Yeah, and then see, Chris, Obi Lyons, cross-dressers are a victim of Satan. Most of them suffer terrible mental. Yeah, and they do. That's the thing is you look at these guys, and you can see this on these social media platforms where the dudes are so confused, the women are so confused. They don't look like they're in a good mental state. They look very, very weak, and there's something obviously wrong with them where they are having an identity crisis. And so, as a dude, go get a pocket knife and start whittling some stuff. As a chick, go into the kitchen and start baking some stuff, and whatever it takes to feel like a woman, whatever it feels to feel like a man. But let's not cross these. Let's get out of that whole world. Okay, where are we at, Phil? 18? 18. Back to this. If you guys have any questions, stick them in there. We got the gift of gab. 18. On the second day, Nathaniel, son of Zuar, leader of Yissachar, brought near. He brought his offering, 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 golden ladle of 10, 1 gold ladle filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Nathaniel, son of Zuar. On the third day, Eliab, son of Kelon, leader of the children of Zebulun, his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold ladle of 10, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Eliab, son of Kelon. On the fourth day, Elitzer, son of Shediar, leader of the children of Reuben, his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, 1 gold ladle of 10 filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Eliezer, son of Shediar. On the fifth day, Shumliel, son of Zuri Shaddai, leader of the children of Shimon. His offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour mixed with grain as a grain offering. 1 gold ladle of 10, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Shelumiel, son of Zuri Shaddai. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, this is the same stuff over and over and over, which it is, and sometimes you have to do things over and over and over when you have 12 different tribes, and all of these tribes have to do the exact same thing. And so, as redundant as this may feel, this is very, very important that we have all of this stuff in our history book so we know exactly what's going on, and there's no questions. Okay, 42. On the sixth day, Elisaph, son of Duriel, leader of the children of Gad, his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, 1 gold ladle of 10, filled with incense, one young bull, one ram, one male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, one male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Elisaph, son of Deuel. On the 7th day, Elishama, son of Amnihud, leader of the children of Ephraim. His offering was what, guys? 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with fine flour, mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold ladle of tin, filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering. 1 male goat as a sin offering. And as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Elishama, son of Amnihud. On the 8th day, Gamliel, son of Pedasur, leader of the children of Manasseh. His offering was what?
1 silver dish.
1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. Both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold ladle of tin, filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering. 1 male goat as a sin offering. And as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Gamliel, son of Pedasur. We don't see here, guys, we don't see people. You don't see these guys, and they see that they're heading forward with the progression of what they are supposed to have, including, you know, one of that, 5 of this, 5 of that. But nobody's sitting there opening up the wallet, increasing the riches of these people, these filthy liars that are lying to people, preaching you the words of Paul. Right? You don't need one of these filthy liars. You don't need to pay people 10%. It's better probably just to get rid of the entire setup and the 10% and not listen to any of these guys than it is to literally listen to these guys. 60. Yeah, no partridge in a pear tree either, right? It's what the Grand says. Okay, continuing on. 60. On the 9th day, Abdadan, son of Gidoni, leader of the children of Benjamin, his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. Both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 golden ladle of tin filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering. 1 male goat as a sin offering. And as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Abidan, son of Gidoni. On the 10th day, Achiezer, son of Amnishadi, leader of the children of Dan, his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. Both of them filled with fine flour with an oil as a grain offering. 1 gold ladle of tin, filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering. 1 male goat as a sin offering. And as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Achiezer, son of Amnishadai. Okay, there's only 12 tribes of Yisrael, so we're getting to the end of this, fellas and gals. On the 11th day, Pagiel, son of Ochran, leader of the children of Ashur, his offering was
1 silver dish.
the weight of which was
130.
okay, 1
Silver bowl.
of how many shekels?
70.
According to the shekel of the Kodesh place, both of them filled with what?
Fine flour.
And with
Mixed with
oil,
oil.
as a grain offering. Do we have 2 golden ladles or do we have 1?
1.
1 golden ladle of tin filled with incense. Do we have anything else? Nope. We have 1 bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering, 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Pagiel, son of Ochran. Now, it would be kind of weird that they get through the 11 tribes and on like the last 2 or 3 tribes, I want 2 bowls, I want 2 of this, 4 golden ladles. Everybody's gonna go, wait, what a second, what's going on here? Okay, 78. On the 12th day, Akira, son of Anan, leader of the children of Naphtali, his offering was 1 silver dish, the weight of which was 130, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. Both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold ladle of tin, filled with incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old as a burnt offering. 1 male goat as a sin offering, and as a peace offering, 2 cattle, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old. This was the offering of Akira, son of Ainan. This was the dedication of the altar from the leaders of Yisrael when it was anointed. 12 silver dishes, 12 silver bowls, 12 gold ladles. Each silver dish was 130 and each bowl 70. All the silver of the vessels was 2,400 according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. The 12 gold ladles filled with incense was 10 each according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. All the gold of the ladles was 120. All the cattle for the burnt offering were 12 young bulls, the rams 12, the male lambs a year old 12, with their grain offering, and the male goats as a sin offering 12. And all the cattle for the peace offerings were 24 bulls, the rams 60, the male goats 60, the lambs a year old 60. This was the dedication of the altar after it was anointed. And when Moshe went into the tent of appointment to speak with him, he heard the voice of one speaking to him from above the lid of atonement that was on the ark of the witness from between the 2 cherubim. Thus he spoke with him. Okay, so we get to all of this and we get to the very last verse on this thing. And we hear some very incredible stuff. And one of the reasons that we had to have all these sacrifices, one of the reasons that we had to have all the stuff that we are doing is all based upon, is our Creator going to talk to us? Is he going to exist with us? And during this time and during this era, our Creator absolutely was walking amongst the people as a cloud by day, fire by night. And then in the Holy of Holies, we have between the 2 cherubim wings, we have the voice of our Creator that's coming out and is talking to Moshe. And so these are the days when our Creator wanted us to walk with him in a certain way, and the only way that he was going to allow this to happen was when we are clean, when we are not living in sin, when we are not living with sin inundating our communities, but where we have basically repented, where we have atoned for our sins with these sacrifices, and then our Creator would still maintain and still walk with us. And so this is very important, because in the end times, when we are in the new kingdom, when we are in the new Jerusalem, these same kind of things are going to be happening. I believe there's going to be sacrifices. I believe there's going to be a temple system. I believe there's going to be Levites doing things of this nature. And it's going to continue on just like back in the day. This stuff is not outdated. It is not from just a certain time, then there's an expiration date. All of these things that our Creator has said is for all generation. It is for all times. It is for people who want to be the children of the Most High. And so that is our end to Numbers. Eli, let's roll us into the next thing. Words and numbers. Yeah, especially, Rick's talking about the numbers attached to these items have significant meanings. Words in Hebrew, numbers have meanings, especially in Hebrew. Yeah, absolutely. That's why we have first day, second day, third day, fourth day. That's why we have our months that are month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. Everything has a meaning. Just like 70s and 7s and 50s, right? We have a cycle of 7s. That if you are keeping a Shabbat on a cycle of 7, then you're keeping commandments. But for those that are continuing to swap out of cycles of 70s, and there's some brothers and sisters out there that they believe that they've found the way forward, and that they are the only ones that know that a Shabbat changes. And we just ended up with some people that we didn't even know they were on other Shabbats. But I guess the end of the year came, and then they switched out of cycles of 7s into like either cycles of 8s or cycles of something. But you basically have to break the commandment of cycles of 70s to get to a new Shabbat on a new day. And then everything's all jacked up. So I guess that is for what anybody wants to do is swap their cycles around. But we've never found anywhere in scriptures that is biblical at all. And you would think that if there was any precedence at all of anybody ever changing the day of Sabbath day from the 7th day to like an 8th day to swap it over to the new year, there would be some sort of a story where somebody didn't get the memo, right? You had all these people that came out from the fields. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have emails. They didn't have any of this stuff. And they thought the Sabbath, they didn't get the memo that the Sabbath had been changed. There's an extra day. So you had all these people showing up at the temple at the wrong day, and people are like, you're on the wrong Sabbath day. And they're like, well, we only got this day off because we thought it was a Sabbath, but the Sabbath day is moving. And so it is a mess. And so, guys, we need to keep with scriptures and keep with what we can prove. And I think cycles of 70s and 50s is a very good thing. Seven. Did I say 70s?
Keep saying 70s.
70. Yeah, I don't mean to say. I know there's also 70s as well. We have 70s in scriptures for things. Okay, so let us get into Mark 6. Jade, will you please give us a breakdown of where we are at?
We are in the New Testament, or the Renewed Covenant, and we are in the days of Messiah, the early days. We have met John the Baptist. We have found some disciples. We have gone on the sea and stopped the sea from rocking. Yahushua saved his disciples, and they're freaking out. He has made enemies of the Pharisees already. The Pharisees already hate him for teaching and doing stuff on the Shabbat, and they want to accuse him. They already want to go after him because he teaches against their traditions. And so now we are in the days of the parables and the healings of Messiah. So we're in the miracle days. We're in the early days still.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here we are. Yeah. And that Rick was talking about, I didn't get the memo. When we're talking about a Sabbath day that changes from a cycle of 7, and you to get to the next cycle of 7, you have to have like an 8-day week or a 5-day week or maybe even an 8-day week. Somehow we've missed a 7th day, right? So somehow we've gone into it. And I think our Creator is so astute and so smart and so mathematically proper that he doesn't need to switch things up to get things working. I think things are working pretty much as they are. So for us, I think we'll stick with cycles of 7s and 50s. Okay, Mark 6. And he went away from there and came to his own country, and his Talmudim followed him. It's talking about our Messiah, right? He went away from there. So this is when Messiah was walking with his people. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are incredible books. I would also like to include the book of Khalidi with this as well. And, I had a brother in chains who I still have to write to him today, but he was kind of scoffing on this. He's like, if Jesus were legit, and of course, everyone on the outside calls him Jesus. There's no J's in Hebrew. His name is Yahushua. But he says if Yahushua was legit, there would be a lot more stories about him, right? It would be something else other than this. And what's funny is this homeboy is sitting with Yah Scriptures in his cell. And so, in fact, he's also sitting with another story right before the book of Khalidi, which is the story of John the Baptist as a child and all of the stuff that went on to that. So there are a lot more stories of our Messiah. There were a lot more stories in our Apocrypha. And throughout the years, you have the Catholics and the Protestants and everybody in between that have ripped books out until we ended up with a 66th book. But if we had literally all the writings of everything along the times, I think we'd be better off than what we are now. Right now, we're fighting for information, which is why Yah Scriptures is probably the greatest English translation anywhere in there. All right, so let us continue on. Reading chat here. Okay. 2. And Shabbat having come, he began to teach in the congregation. And many who heard were astonished, saying, where did he get all this? And what wisdom is this which he is given to him, that such miracles are done through his hands? Is this not the carpenter, the son, the Ben of Miriam, the brother of Jacob and Joseph, and Yehuda and Shimon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they stumbled in him, right? And this is the Messiah talks about this a lot, right? A prophet is not loved in his own hometown, right? When you grow up in a little area and you have been there all your life, people don't know what to expect. If you're a guy that just came into town and you're a mystery, it's far easier to accept the mystery than it is somebody of your own people. And so this point right here really messes with these people because they saw Messiah grow up in their midst. And now he's laying hands on people, healing them, bringing the sick back, making the blind see, people coming from the dead to life, and it tricks them out. They don't understand this. Okay, continuing on. 4. And Yahushua said to them, a Navi is not unappreciated except in his own country and among his own relatives and in his own house. I guess I gave you guys a spoiler alert. I didn't actually read this today. So this is the same thing Messiah found, right? That he struggles. Messiah was one who struggled in life to be accepted by the people because he went from place to place, incident to incident. And if there's one thing about Messiah is that he's always challenged. Everybody challenges him. He came into a world where there was a tremendous amount of religions. Even in Judaism, you had different sects of Judaism. And it's just like if you call yourself a Catholic and or a Christian, inside of a Christian, you have a gazillion different denominations of what they call a Christian. That is the same in the so-called Judaism, right? You had all of these people that were Pharisees, Sadducees, you had the Zadokis, you had all of these people, and everybody took their own understanding of what it was. And when you read extracurricular books, you get a bias laid upon you that is very hard to hear. And we hear that all the time because those the lying people that are in the pulpits, they're always telling people all of these things. And I get it all the time from brothers and sisters in chains. People write me up and they go, but I didn't think there was any laws. I thought Jesus fulfilled them and didn't have any. So the thing that all of us have to understand is that we are in the mix of the same thing that Messiah is into. Everybody has their own salvation. Everybody's figured out how to get saved. You ask any Christian how to be saved, they'll tell you can just accept Jesus into your heart and you're saved. Salvation can never be ripped from your hands. Even when Messiah very clearly says, "Depart from me, you who work lawlessness." Continuing on, 5. And he was unable to do any miracle there, except that he laid his hands on a few sick ones, and healed them. And I would like to reiterate on this verse that it wasn't that he was unable to do any miracles there. It's that he did not do any of the miracles there. And Messiah clearly talks to us about it in the other books that sometimes by healing a sick person or somebody that was diseased or broken would only bring that person into a more spiritual depravity. That whatever was done would not take this guy's soul and make it where it is equipped for the kingdom to come. And so sometimes the prayers that people ask, they seem like, well, we never get our prayers answered. Sometimes having your prayers answered would have put you in a worse spot than anything you could ever possibly know. And so sometimes the prayers unanswered are actually answered prayers that you just don't know why it's being answered the way it is. 6, and he marveled because of their unbelief, the people in these villages. And he was going around among the villages teaching. And he called the 12 near and began to send them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over unclean spirits. And he instructed them to take not for the journey except for a staff, no bag, no bread, no copper in their money belts, but to wear sandals and not to wear 2 undergarments. And he said to them, whenever you enter into a house, stay there until you leave that place. And any place that does not receive you or listen to you when you leave there, shake off the dust under your feet as a witness against them. Truly, I say to you, it shall be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Now, a lot of people will take the words of our Messiah and they don't take the rest of his words. Because you will have people that will take this right here and they will go out. They will just go out and they're like, I'm missionaries. And in fact, that's what the missionaries of today do. And, you know, if you're looking at some of the greatest Satanists of this world, right? What other people are out there teaching people the incorrect ways to do things? And they're out there saving everybody in the name of Jesus. Every single one of these people. And so we have all these so-called missionaries that are doing the devil's work. But when you are out there, this is not our Messiah telling you right now to go drop everything you do and just start missionarying these people with the incorrect message, right? And I get that a lot because there's other places in Messiah's writings where he says, if you do not have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. So people are like, well, it's always about this. We're giving, and we're not to prepare ourselves. We're not to defend ourselves. And that's not what Messiah says at all. What he's talking about is he's talking about sending these guys away 2 by 2, and he gave them the power that they needed to get rid of unclean spirits. He gave them the instructions that they did not need to take stuff for them because they would be provided for them. So let's continue on. 11. And any one, 12. And they went out and proclaimed the purpose to repent. And they were casting out many demons, and they were anointing with oil many who were sick, and they were healing them. Governor Herodes heard, for his name had become well known. And he said, Yochanan the Immerser has been raised from the dead, and because of these powers are at work in him. Others said, he is Eliyahu, and others said, he is a Navi, just like the Nebiim. But when Herodes heard, he said, this one is Yochanan, whom I beheaded. He has been raised from the dead. For Herodes himself had sent and seized Yochanan and bound him in prison because of Herodias, his brother Philippus' wife, because he had married her. For Yochanan had said to Herodias, it is not right for you to have your brother's wife. which it is not in this instance. So Herodias held a grudge against him and wanted to kill him, but was unable. For Herodes feared Yochanan, knowing that he was righteous and a Kodesh man, and he protected him. And when he heard him, he was much perplexed, yet heard him gladly. And a suitable day came when Herodes, on his birthday, gave a feast for his great men, and the high officers, and the chief men of Galilee. And when the daughter of Herodias herself came in and danced, and pleased Herodes, and those who sat with him, the sovereign said to the girl, "Ask me whatever you want, and I shall give it to you." Now, this is one of these incidents that basically changed the world that we lived in, and there's a tremendous amount of commands that we are breaking here. No doubt, this girl, she was probably dressed like a little slut, is my guess, and she probably went out there and started dancing around these guys, all in these little slutty outfits and everything, to the point that you had a whole bunch of intoxicated guys, including the king, or kind of the king of the area, and he's like, "Ask me whatever you want, and I shall give it to you." Huge things. The devil was definitely in all of this. Lots of issues. And I will tell you, from the extracurricular books in the Apocrypha, and this is actually not a story in the Apocrypha that we have yet, but will be in our next Apocrypha, this same girl that's about to ask for the head of John the Baptist, she was decapitated herself in an ice skating accident where she fell through the ice, and her head ended up on top of the ice as the rest of her body was down under that. So there's some stuff that's going to happen here that will change lots of lives and lots of things forever. Okay, 23. And he swore to her, "Whatever you ask me, I shall give you, up to half of my reign." And she went out and said to her mother, "What shall I ask?" And she said, "The head of Yochanan the immerser." And coming in immediately with haste to the sovereign, she asked, saying, "I want you to give me at once the head of Yochanan the immerser on a dish." Now, we're talking some savage people here, right? Asking people in this day and age things like this, people are going to say, you're psychopath, right? You're absolutely psychopath. Not only killing somebody, but then taking their head and sticking it on a platter. This is some deeply disturbing things. 26. And the sovereign, becoming deeply grieved because of the oaths and because of those who sat with him, did not want to refuse her. So all of a sudden, this guy all liquored up, having a party, basically being seduced by a daughter that wasn't really his. It was his brother's wife's daughter. And all of a sudden, he lost control. All of this because of a party and all of these things. And the sovereign straightway sent an executioner and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in prison and brought his head on a dish and gave it to the girl. And the girl gave it to her mother. And when his talmidin heard it, they came and took away his dead body and laid it in a tomb. And the emissaries gathered to Yahushua and reported to him all, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said to them, "Come aside by yourselves to a lonely place and rest a little." For there were many coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. And they went away to a lonely place in the boat by themselves. But they saw them going, and many recognized him and ran there on foot from all the cities and came before them and came together to him. And I've talked about this before. This is an actor. This is somebody who is extremely important in this day and age. Messiah was one of these people that were a celebrity of celebrities, and finding peace and quiet for a Messiah was very, very hard. Finding a moment of peace was very, very hard. And most of us, we like our peace. We like our quiet. We would not be able to be dealing with people constantly. And all these people, they weren't coming to him just to worship him. They were coming to him with problems. There were always problems. There was always issues. Messiah was having to sit here and deal with all of this stuff. So shouts out to our Messiah for having the patience to be able to deal with all of this. Continuing on, 34. And having gone out, Yahushua saw a large crowd and was moved with compassion for them because they were like sheep, not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them much. And as the hour grew late, his talmidim came to him and said, "This is a lonely place, and now the hour is late. Send them away so they go into the surrounding country and villages and buy themselves bread, since they have not to eat." Messiah, but he answering them said to them, "You give them to eat." And they said to him, "Should we go and buy 200 silver pieces worth of bread and give them to eat?" Then he said to them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." And when they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. And he ordered them to make them all sit down in groups on the green grass. And they sat down in groups in hundreds and fifties. And taking the loaves and the 2 fish, looking up to the Shemaim, he barak and broke the loaves and gave them to his talmidim to put before them. And the 2 fish he divided among them all. And all ate and were satisfied. Okay, so this is something I often like to talk about, this particular situation right here. Because there's not a lot of fish and there's not a lot of bread. But our Messiah had everybody sit down, and more than likely he was a little bit above them so that people could all see him. And he just started picking the stuff apart. And, I don't know what that would look like, Does he take a piece of bread and rip a piece off and that piece of bread never goes anywhere? How is it reforming? What does this look like? And what are these people thinking? Because at first when he did this, people are probably just going to be thinking he's putting his lunch together. But he had everybody sit down, and he started becoming the master chef for everybody. He became the master provider for all of them. And out of these 2 fish and the bread, he divided. 42 says, and all ate and were satisfied. Continuing on, and they picked up 12 baskets filled with pieces, also from the fish. Now those who ate the loaves were about 5,000 men. And immediately he made his talmidim enter into the boat and to go before him to the other side, to Beth Zaida, while he was dismissing the crowd. And having sent them away, he went away to the mountain to pray. And when evening came, the boat was in the middle of the sea, and he was alone on the land. And seeing them straining at rowing, for the wind was against them, at about the 4th watch of the night, he came to them walking by the sea and intended to pass them by. This is an interesting part, right? The whole part was intended to pass them by. You see your people out there on the boat. You see them, as humans, we stress about a lot of things, right? We are not in control of the elements around us. And for anybody who's been on a boat in the middle of a tossing storm, it's going to be very, very concerning. But Messiah is out there walking in the water. And when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a phantom and cried out, for they all saw him and were troubled. And immediately he spoke to them and said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." And he went up to them into the boat, and the wind ceased. And they were exceedingly amazed in themselves and marveled, for they did not understand about the loaves, because their heart was hardened. And having passed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and drew to shore. Now, this is kind of interesting, right? We get through all of this stuff. We start off with the loaves. We have the fish and the loaves of bread. And then it goes, he feeds everybody. And then it takes us into the part about being in the water, right? Everybody's being tossed about. Everybody's about to die. And then the last verse of this says, they exceedingly amazed in themselves and marveled, for they did not understand about the loaves because their heart was hardened. Big things to understand, right? These people still did not get the divinity, the strength, the power, what our Messiah was exactly there for, and his abilities, right? They saw this stuff, but they couldn't process it. And we have the story of the fish and the bread before, and they can't figure it out, right? The same incident happens again, and the disciples were like talking to themselves in a boat, wondering if Messiah was talking about food because they didn't have bread or something of the sort. They just could not figure out that they had the creator of the universe's son amongst them, and he had the power over all of this stuff. Continuing on, 53. And having passed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and drew to shore. And they immediately came out of the boat. He was immediately recognized, and all that neighborhood ran about and began to carry about on beds those who were sick to wherever they heard he was. And again, guys, I want to reiterate that our Messiah is a celebrity of celebrities of celebrities. This was the guy that could not walk around in peace. This was the individual that had really, he was attacked by people then in all fashions, right? I mean, this is kind of an attack, right? You get out of your boat, you're tired, you want to do whatever it is, and all of the neighborhood ran about and all of a sudden, Messiah's here, Yahushua was here, right? They were grabbing everybody they knew who was sick. They were just, the entire village was scrambling to get to our Messiah. And this is a Messiah that at some point we're going to have access to directly. This is the same leader of the real free world. This one's going to make Yisrael great again, right? If there's a chant for this, this is the one that's going to make Yisrael great. And it's going to be great because there's going to be a community of people that all love our Creator, that love His ways, that are willing to obey and to bow their knee to a greater, higher power. So continuing on, 56. And wherever he went, into villages or cities or in the country, they were laying the sick in the marketplaces and begged him to let them touch, if only the tzitzit of his garment. And as many as touched him were healed. And so there we go, guys. We have the power of our Messiah. We have the power of his tzitzits. And, it's not the power of his tzitzits, but it's the power that is emanating through him that just drop out in through his tzitzits. And, you guys, these are great stories because someday all of these stories are going to come to life in real life to us as we sit and we gaze upon the face of our Messiah, as we gaze upon the face of all of those who have come before us and have done it properly, and those who have not willing to let the devil control their lives. And so, guys, this walk that we have, it's all a Torah walk. That is why if we are able to get into Torah and to read these scriptures, and I'm going to leave you guys with the same thing that I leave everybody with. If you're out there looking for some man to guide you or to give you some lessons or to teach you guys something somewhere, that's a bad thought. You guys have scriptures right before you, and if you have not read the Torah, the first 5 books of scriptures, 5 times alone. So you're reading Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, you start again, read it all. If you have not done that series 5 times, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You won't know what the scriptures have for you. You can't just read this stuff one time and think you get it. This is why we are always going over these laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator so that we put this into our muscle memory so that when we are out in the real world and we have the people that are trying to get us to violate Torah, all of a sudden we realize that we have Levitical guidelines for what we eat, for what we do, for how we operate, for how we worship, and it's all the way our Creator wants us to do it. So guys, let us take this day and let us make this Shabbat a great day of rest. Let us get into these scriptures, and let's just not do this on a Shabbat. Let's do this every single day of the week. We are told in Deuteronomy 6 that it needs to be every part of our life, and so this is our chance. This is our opportunity to make this happen. So with that, guys, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm reading the chat here as Eli gets us into our final thing. Yep, this is and the bread of life. Yes, lots of great stuff in here, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Please get the dog. Jaden, will you please bless our brothers and sisters? And our dogs are getting a little wild, guys. My apologies.
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace. They shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall barak them.
Okay, everybody. We hope you have a wonderful day. We hope you're in your scriptures. We love you a lot. Hit it.
Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Let the mountains shake, let the earth be moved, let the nations may tremble at your presence. Let your fire burn, let the waters boil, let your name be known to this generation, and come down. That you would rend the heavens and come down.
right, everybody. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the grace of the Torah be in your life. May the Torah forever be in your life. May Messiah Yahushua always be the focus of the way to the kingdom. We thank you